It's time we make college football more American by making it more European. This is not like the arguments you've heard before for promotion and relegation in college football. To start, most folks forget to define the terms. Promotion and relegation is a process by which teams can move up and down different divisions in a hierarchical structure based upon their performance in a given season. European soccer does it the best. If you win your league, you have the option to go up. Teams are incentivized to move up because the higher you go in the hierarchy, the larger the checks are because of the TV deals associated with the teams in that league. So even if you think you're going to be fighting for dear life to stay in that higher league, you'll do so in the off chance that you can string enough big checks together across enough seasons in a row to ultimately move up to the next league. It's beautiful. It's pull yourself up by the bootstrap stuff. It's, dare I say, American. But another reason this isn't like any other argument you've heard for promotion and relegation in college football is because I'm going to tell you straight up, this is not going to happen in America. Let me revise that. There's a 99.99% chance that this does not happen in college football. We would need a central power, a conference commissioner, and the current conference commissioners won't let that happen. We would need everyone to be incentivized to come together. The conference commissioners, the athletic directors, the TV network executives, hey, even the athletes themselves. It's essentially a fantasy, but it would be the best thing that could happen to college football. So what does that 0.01% look like? And what would bring those parties to the table? Well, ironically, to start, the gap between the haves and the have-nots would have to get even bigger. In the 2024 recruiting class, 27 of the 32 five-stars committed to either a Big Ten or an SEC school. 78 of the top 100 prospects are committed to the same two conferences. The top 8 teams in the futures markets to win the national championship in 2024 are part of the Big Ten or the SEC, and that goes for 15 of the top 18. In the fiscal year 2022, Louisiana Lafayette's football program reported revenue of $4.7 million that year. Texas's football program reported a revenue of $182.9 million. Both of those teams compete for the same trophy. So the gap is already huge, but let's say the balance of power continues to shift towards the Big Ten and the SEC. And what if it doesn't stop? That will likely make a lot of the TV inventory decrease in value. For example, who's going to want to watch a 7-4 Arizona State team play a 4-7 Iowa State game when the average Saturday you're used to seeing USC, Alabama, and Ohio State matchup? That Arizona State-Iowa State game would have been a solid Saturday night watch. Now it just would be increasingly irrelevant. Ratings for the blue blood programs will increase, but ratings across the board will dip, interest in the sport will decrease, and most importantly, everybody's pockets will start to hurt until we install promotion and relegation. Now that somewhat random ASU-Iowa State game has stakes that couldn't be higher as the Cyclones try to play their way into staying in their division. Now that relatively random matchup is considered must-watch TV for football fans. But what would this whole process even look like, and how would we get it organized? This is how. At top, we start with that Power 2 of the Big Ten and the SEC. This gives us a group of 36 teams at the top. Next level down is everybody else in the Power 5. 29 teams at this level as things stand today, and I like to make it even 36 like the other league, so I'm bringing up 7 teams from the league below. That leaves us with 54 group of 5 teams at the third level. The fourth level is the whole FCS. This is why it's a pyramid. You start to see the number of teams increase as we decrease in level of play. There's 128 teams at this level. The fifth level is Division 2 with 162 programs. And finally, the lowest level of the pyramid is Division 3 with 243 programs. You see, the whole system as it stands today fits pretty well in a pyramid. I really believe college football is the only American sport where there's a better than 0% chance of this happening. And this would be the best thing for American sports since football was invented. I think about all those little towns in Europe and say, oh, we're pretty crazy about our team. And our initial reaction is like, oh, that's cute. They must have a nice minor league baseball equivalent stadium and they get together and support the boys. When in reality, it's teams like Burnley, population 73,000, stadium size 22,000. Bournemouth, population 187,000, stadium size 11,300. Hoffenheim, population 3,200, stadium capacity 30,150. And if that sounds familiar, it's because we have places in our sport like Eugene, population 175,000, stadium size 54,000. Pullman, Washington, population 32,827, stadium capacity 32,950. Ames, population 66,400, stadium capacity 61,500. By instituting this system, you give every college town in America hope. Hope that if you make the sacrifices to succeed, they'll be rewarded. What's more American than that?